Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that your country has been completely erased from the global economy. Not by a war, not by a natural disaster, but by a single keystroke in Beijing. It sounds like the plot of a dystopian movie, but for one European nation, this nightmare became a terrifying reality. For decades, we have been told that global trade brings countries together. The idea was simple. If we buy and sell from each other, we won't fight each other. But what if that entire theory is wrong? What if the products you buy every day, from the phone in your hand to the car in your driveway, are actually silent soldiers in a new kind of global war? Today, we are going to uncover how China has quietly transformed the global supply chain into a weapon of mass economic destruction. And by the end of this video, you will realize why the next world war might not be fought with bullets, but with cargo ships. Our story begins in the spring of 2020. The world was paralyzed by a mysterious new virus, and the Australian government did something that seemed entirely reasonable. They called for an independent international inquiry into the origins of COVID-19. But what happened next shocked everyone. Beijing didn't just disagree, they retaliated with brutal economic force. Almost overnight, Australian cargo ships carrying millions of dollars worth of coal were left stranded at sea, forbidden from unloading at Chinese ports. Then came the tariffs. China slapped a devastating 80% tax on Australian barley and a staggering 212% tariff on Australian wine. Entire industries were pushed to the brink of collapse. Why did this decision change everything? Because China wasn't just punishing Australia, they were sending a message to the rest of the world. In November 2020, the Chinese embassy in Canberra deliberately leaked a document to the media. It was a list of 14 grievances, 14 sins Australia had committed against China. These included banning Huawei from their 5G network and speaking out about human rights. The message was crystal clear. If you cross Beijing politically, we will crush you economically. But to truly understand how deep this strategy goes, we have to look back to a seemingly minor incident in 2010. A Chinese fishing trawler collided with two Japanese Coast Guard vessels near a group of disputed islands. It was a localized maritime dispute. What the Chinese government did next was unbelievable. They didn't send warships. Instead, they quietly halted all exports of rare earth elements to Japan. If you don't know what rare earths are, they are the critical minerals required to build everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to advanced military fighter jets. And at the time, China controlled over 90% of the global supply. By simply turning off the tap, China threatened to bring Japan's massive high-tech manufacturing industry to a grinding halt. It was a wake-up call for the entire world. China had successfully weaponized a monopoly over the raw materials that power the 21st century. They proved that they held a global kill switch. But perhaps the most terrifying example of this economic weapon happened in 2021 to a small Baltic nation, Lithuania. Lithuania made a bold diplomatic move. They allowed Taiwan to open a representative office in their capital using the name Taiwan, rather than the Beijing-approved Chinese Taipei. To the Chinese Communist Party, this was an unforgivable insult. China didn't just place tariffs on Lithuanian goods. They did something unprecedented. They literally deleted Lithuania from their customs registry. Overnight, Lithuanian businesses couldn't clear their goods through Chinese ports. It was as if the country had ceased to exist in the eyes of the world's second-largest economy. But the coercion didn't stop there. China began threatening massive European multinational companies. They told German auto parts giants that if their products contained even a single component made in Lithuania, those products would be banned from entering China. Beijing was actively trying to force global corporations to boycott a sovereign European nation. This brings us to the most surprising and important part of the story. For years, the West believed that integrating China into the World Trade Organization would make them play by the rules of free market capitalism. But Beijing never saw trade as a tool for mutual prosperity. They saw it as a strategic web. Through massive infrastructure projects like the Belt and Road Initiative, and by dominating the processing of critical minerals, China has spent the last 2 decades making sure the world needs them more than they need the world. This is a concept known as asymmetric interdependence. It means they want you to be completely reliant on their factories and their markets, so that the moment you criticize their policies, they can pull the plug. Trade isn't a bridge for cooperation. It is a loaded gun pointed at the global economy. The era of innocent globalization is over. The cases of Australia, Japan, and Lithuania prove that we are entering a new age of economic warfare. Every cargo ship, every microchip, and every trade deal is now a piece on a geopolitical chessboard. The question is no longer whether China will use trade as a weapon. The question is, who will they target next, and is the rest of the world ready to survive it? If you enjoy enjoyed the story, subscribe for more documentaries like this. Leave a comment below. Do you think your country is too dependent on China? Let's discuss.